Hello everyone, Matt Worldly here, and I'm going to share a story with you about the importance of remembering who we are, and where we came from, and how it ultimately adds up to who we are now in this present moment. And recently, I locked myself in my laboratory for about 2 weeks so that I could push the technical aspects of this art form that I've invented, alien wizard science, to see what I could come up with, and to learn more and more and more about this so that I can share it with you guys. So I compiled all the footage into a 10.5-minute video. I created a commentary around it where I talked about what you were seeing, and I watched it back, and I hated it. And I'm like, why do you hate this? You love this. This is what you want to do. This is what you want to share with the world. What's going on? And I said, I don't know, there's just something about it that just sucks ass. And I realized I'm not talking about the origin story of alien wizard science. I'm just talking about all the bells and whistles, right? The pretty lights. Look at this. Look what I can do. Watch what happens when I do this. Isn't that cool? Yeah, it's great. Congratulations. What I was leaving out was the origin story, the remembrance of my divinity, right? And what was transpiring back in 2013, 2012, 2014, when I was having these experiences that were, I don't know, essentially like conversations with God. And I kind of put those on the back burner and try to, race into the future. And here we are now in 2020, and I'm like, whoa, 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 slow down, Mr. Alien Wizard Scientist. Don't forget where you came from, mister. Don't forget who gave birth to you. Don't forget who gave you this life. Don't forget who loves you. Don't forget mommy. And I'm like, whoa. So I cut the video in half, and I still didn't like it. I was talking about the experiences that I had and how this voice in my head, told me and guided me here, and how it was a series of profound experiences that led to this. And I showed my friend Sterling these videos. And Sterling, I hadn't seen him forever, and I really respect his advice because he's been a huge, huge compliment to my spiritual evolution over the past 2 years. So I'm always looking forward to what he has to say about my work. And he watched my videos and he's like, so you talk about this voice in your head. Like, what are you talking about, And I'm like, well, I'm talking about, the experimenters. Gradón, the great dragon spirit. And he's like, well, then say that. Because when you say there's a voice in your head, that's very broad. Anybody could just think you're a psychopath with, Frank, Bob, and Larry as invisible friends. But if you speak directly to it, when you tell these stories, you don't say, a voice in my head told me to do A, B, and C. You say, Gradón, the great dragon spirit, told me. I communicated with Source, and this is what transpired. And he says, you see the difference? And I'm just like, yeah, I do. So that shit changed the course of my approach to sharing alien wizard science, because I realized it ain't time for that. It's time to go back and remember. So I took out my journals from 2012, 2013, 2014, retraced my steps on my old Facebook page, my old Instagram page, my old phone pictures, and my phone videos. From there, I was able to accumulate all the dates of when certain types of artwork were finished, when this one was finished, and what events transpired in between the creation of each one of those arts, because the experiences I was having ultimately led to something profound, which defines who I am, which defines my weirdness, my character, my beliefs, is the story, the origin story. And this origin story, to be frank, is back in 2012 and 2013, I drew this piece of artwork. And what happened after that was so exceptional. I surrendered myself to God, and I said, tell me what to draw. And I got a series of messages, and I drew it. And I've been hiding this drawing, been like not sharing it with people. And that's what I have to remember, before I go blasting off into like La La Land with all these cool lights. Like, I gotta remember that there's this really beautiful story that needs to be told. And once I started to remember the importance of telling the origin story of how this all started, that's when I became heart-centered. And I felt like I was accomplishing so much in so little time. And here we are. And I have all the documentation lined up. I'm ready to tell you these stories. But this video was to reflect on the importance of remembering who we are. Because we get so caught up in the bells and whistles of life, there's a lot of distractions, that often we forget who we are in 2016, 2017, 2018, and we realize that who we were in some years of our life really played a huge role in the development of our spiritual fortification and our beauty and our divinity, and we tend to lose track of that as we get distracted by all the pretty lights. So this video is to say, remember your light. Remember where your light initially emanated from. And tell that story. I love you. Thank you for watching this video.